Sometimes in our lives,
Don't,
we
don't,
all have pain. We all
don't.
have sorrows. And if you're watching the Scandal recap, we just saw a sad scene. One where Huck might be dead. Pass the tissue if you are mourning, because you don't know if
Oh,
Huck is dead.
Lord. Oh,
Oh, welcome to Thursday, March 23rd, 2017. This is season 6, episode 7 of Scandal. This is the Scandalous Scandal recap. A Traitor Among Us. I'm Larry Brown Jr., joined by my fantastic friend Janiyah Wright. Janiyah, how are you tonight?
I'm doing so well, LBJ. Tonight's episode was bananas. That's all I have to say.
Bananas.
Yes,
Yes.
it was bananas. Bananas. LBJ. I couldn't believe it. From the beginning to the end, it was just another one of those episodes where you can't go take a restroom break. You are on the edge of the couch. I mean,
Uh-huh.
it was so good.
Yeah, it was so good. Shout out to
So
everyone
good.
who is watching us live in the chat. Mrs. Creo Davis, I see you. Yes, LBJ. Stephanie Beard, Tall Delta 55. That's my mom. I'm traumatized. She's actually here in Maryland with us in the
Oh
room right
my
now.
God.
Let's see. Grace. Well, Shauna did it. I'm completely bald. Grace, you ripped out all your edges and all your hair. What happened? I
None
believe
left.
LBJ, can you recommend some good products so I can get that nice lick short? You know what, Grace? This is good, nothing but coconut oil and good moisture all throughout the day.
Oh
Idon
God.
Matrix, you're joining us live. What's up to you? D Hill, we haven't seen you in so long. Everybody is hanging out
Oh,
in here. How
LBJ.
about Marvis to Marvis?
Yes,
Cat
Cat Harlem.
Harlem. Yeah. Rakira.
Idom Matrix.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Talus Fairy. Why? Huck. Why? Yeah. Everyone is here. Thank you guys
Oh,
so much.
so good. Oh my
I
gosh.
Let me tell you, I've been running around here trying to get stuff together the last minute. I was on the edge of my seat. I didn't even get a chance to send the live tweet. I mean, to tweet the link out to the YouTube video on Twitter. So could you guys do me a favor and help me tweet and use the hashtag Scandal Recap and tell folks to come in and hang out with us and discuss tonight's episode, A Traitor Among Us.
Ah,
Whew.
so much. There's
We've
so
not
much.
we've not been. I think it's good for our heart that we've not been on edge and we've been wrapped up in these kinds of emotions for this show for health reasons. I think it's
That's
unhealthy
right.
for us to do this week after week
Mm-hmm.
after week. Let's start
Mm-hmm.
at the top.
Hypertension is one of the biggest killers of people in the United States of America, LBJ. And I will say the kind of stress that we experienced this evening in watching this episode, no good. No
Not at
good,
all.
LBJ, for
No,
the
no
blood
good.
pressure.
No good.
Okay.
No good for the blood pressure. Let's start and jump into this episode.
Yes.
We start and end tonight with these two characters. And I shouldn't say we end, but we almost end tonight with these two characters. We
Mm-hmm.
see Huck in the boxing ring with Meg. Janiyah, tell us what was taking place in this boxing ring, and set us up.
I'll set it up. So, the very first scene, we're watching Huck spar with who? Meg. Yeah, that's her name now, LBJ. We're not just going to call her Meg. She's Meg. I can't, anyway, we'll get to that. But people can't be trusted. Let's just go ahead and say it.
You got it right. No.
And so Huck and Meg, they are boxing. Now, let's just remind ourselves of who Meg is. Meg is the one that has portrayed herself to be Jenny's best friend. Who's Jenny? Jenny is the one that called the tip line and said and played out that entire storyline that had the whole world, OPA and Associates and everybody else thinking that Cyrus was the one that killed the president. And so we know we're still trying to figure out why Jenny has been a linchpin in all of this. But we have met Meg in that context. We met Meg because she said she was Jenny's best friend. Huck has befriended her through the course of, the scandal related to the Vargas murder. And he has just, I'll go ahead and say it, he's taken a liking. I mean, Meg walked in there with, jars and jars of nectar, LBJ, and she poured it all over Huck's head.
I'm talking about like a slow pour honey, like an OK Player album cover, like all that honey dripping off that lady's honey dip on that album. This is exactly how that nectar flowed.
That's exactly what it did. Smooched itself all over Huck's face. He can't see through it, okay? And there we are. We're watching them spar, and she's doing her flirty sparring, repeating back to him, hey, you taught me these super boxing tricks, and I'm now using them against you. I'm so flirty. I'm paraphrasing, but this is basically what she was saying. And so then we see who come running in. Charlie and Quinn. They come running into the boxing match, and they interrupt this romantic sparring that Huck and Meg are doing. And Charlie and Quinn, they're completely flustered. Huck, why aren't you answering your phone? We can't find Olivia. LBJ, what did you think in that moment?
Let me tell you, when we couldn't find Olivia, I was like, is this where Kerry Washington called out of work because she went into labor having the baby?
Wrote her out the episode.
I was like, well, we're not going to see Olivia Pope in this episode because Kerry had to go have that baby. But then when I saw her sitting at like the whistle stop in front on that porch, I was like, okay, here's Olivia. What's going on? Why can't they find Olivia? I did not think that Olivia was dead. I'm sure some people thought that Olivia was being held captive or that she was about to be killed. But the show is Kerry Washington. The show is Olivia Pope. So She wasn't going to be dead. I thought that Olivia was somewhere like plotting and scheming because remember last week, she had it up to here with her dad and she was not about that life with him anymore. So I thought that she was somewhere plotting and scheming. I didn't know. I thought, is she doing this alone? Because remember, Olivia's got some darkness in her. Let's not forget, Olivia killed someone.
Don't forget.
Olivia is a murderer, okay? She is a she knows how to get away with murder. She knows that. Kathy Grantham, what's up? Welcome back. I see you. We haven't seen you in a while. Henry Leonga, Catherine Belger, all these new folks that are hanging out with us. Thank you so much. Sorry for interrupting my thought, but I thought that Olivia was plotting and scheming on her loan.
Yes.
And then and that's only because all of her folks, all of her henchmen were together.
Yes.
That's exactly what I thought. What did you guys think? Tell us in the chat.
LBJ, I cannot wait to see what people in the chat thought because in that scene for Olivia to not be accessible to Quinn and Charlie, because you have to remember, Quinn and Charlie have the ability to access people that don't want to be accessed. So for them to come into Huck and say, we can't find Olivia, we know that they've already used some of their Spidey gadgets to try to do it. And they haven't been successful.
Spidey gadgets,
yeah. Those B613 magical, they just, type 3 minutes and the whole truth of the world comes pouring down on the screen.
Exactly.
And they couldn't find her. And that's why, LBJ, I panicked for a minute. I thought, where in the world? But lo and behold, Huck picks up his cell phone and of course Olivia's been in touch with him. Okay, she didn't reach out to the peons. Yeah, Quinn, peon. Had to be said, LBJ.
Watch it, Janaya. Watch it. Don't do it. Don't play yourself with Quinn, Robert, Lindsay. Don't do it.
She didn't reach out to Quinn. She reached out to Huck because she had some business that needs to be handled. So the next scene, we see Huck with Olivia. He drives up to random hotels and hotel. That's the wrong word. This was a motel, okay, on the side of somebody's highway, okay. And Huck drives up to the motel, and Olivia's sitting there looking like Who Shot John on a rainy day, okay, all just crestfallen. And Huck is like
crestfallen with a nice blanket cape over her lap.
and just for the record, you're not fooling anyone with those vertical stripes.
Right.
The jig is up, Kerry Washington.
We know you were pregnant. It's all
quite pregnant. And so there's the exchange between Olivia and Huck. And Olivia is basically saying, listen, let me tell you what I know here, Huck. What I know is that Rowan made Jennifer call the tip line. Rowan is the one that killed the president, and Rowan now needs to be killed. And she said, I need you to kill my father. And LBJ, this is now Huck and Olivia having a conversation that they have had a few times now in this show about killing Command. LBJ, what did you think of this scene?
I thought that Huck was I thought that Huck was going to be taking it back, and immediately he was taking it back because, as you said, this is not the first time he's had this conversation with Olivia in the life of this series. I thought that Huck was going to oblige Olivia, as he always does, but I thought that it was interesting that we got to see Huck do some digging on his own because he entreats himself to Olivia so much. He watches her, he adopts her ways, he adapts to her way of living because Olivia is his muse, if you will, and by her being his muse and his covering, he understands how she operates. He's the one that gets it. He is Olivia's robot. When Olivia says jump, he asks how high. In fact, if Olivia pushes the button, he jumps, and he already knows to jump, how high to jump. And this is what's going to happen here in this moment. I want to also bring to the front that as soon as Huck got off of the phone with Olivia, we saw Huck get to digging. To me, that was like Huck 4.0 coming out. Normally, Huck takes the order and he goes for it. But Huck took the order. He started doing some digging, and Huck should have taken the shot on command. So if you guys didn't watch it, some of you watched this before you actually watched the Scandal episode. And you don't mind the spoiler alerts. Huck takes the order from Olivia. He goes looking for Rowan. But prior to him going looking for Rowan, he goes to like some dark closet somewhere. And Huck is like looking down all these different shelves, and he looks upon this red toolbox. And in this red toolbox, we don't know what's in the red toolbox.
But we've seen it before.
Thank you. We've seen the red toolbox before. But to me, in my mind, I'm like, has the artillery changed in the red toolbox, or is it the same thing? So I'm thinking this new Huck is, if he's going to wake the guy up, is going to wake the guy up with the same artillery, or is it going to be something brand spanking new? I thought he would have something that you like had to assemble and like twist in, and then like a bop it, you have to like twist it, pull it, squeeze it, pass it, and do all this, and then like go kill him. So I didn't know what was going to be there, but we saw that it was his magical handpiece that he travels with when his guy is awake. And so we saw the guy come out. The guy finds Rowan Pope, sees Rowan Pope going down into a metro station. And you see, by the way, shout out to that very New York looking metro station. It could have been one of those metro stations in LA, because LA has a metro.
Point of clarification, point of order. LBJ, you just need to know that metro station was nothing like a New York metro station. There wasn't urine everywhere.
That's true. That like 100-year like scud on the walls and stuff. Yeah, no rats walking through there.
That's right. Mickey, Minnie, all their friends running hither and thither. That was a DC Metro station, LBJ, because it was clean. Shout out to DC Metro.
It was clean, but DC Metro has rusty pipes running water, rusted water, fish smelling tracks, electric fires going on left and right. So that was definitely something in Los Angeles. But we got Rowan. He sees Rowan down in the train station. Now, I thought that when he followed Rowan into the metro station, I thought that Huck was going to pull a house of cards and push Rowan in front of the train. Remember House of Cards season 2, episode 1? Homeboy pushes the girl in front of the train, and she's dead. That's it. I thought he was going to push Rowan in front of the train. All of a sudden, this big Smithsonian scientist is dead in the news in DC. But no, the people.
Who will care for the bones? Who will care for the bones?
Who will care for the bones? So, we see Huck meet Rowan, and Huck meets Rowan by Rowan calling Huck out. Huck is looking for Rowan on the train, and then he's like, "I'm here. Turn around. Look. Stand down."
Listen, I'm so happy you just called that out, because Huck, I have to just say, I don't think he was on his game. I mean, first of all, generally when Huck is slithering through the shadows, even in plain sight, he is undetectable. I felt like he was so present. I mean, he's looking into all of the train stations. It was just a very un-Huck-like following that he was doing. And so no surprise that Rowan caught him. And I'm just raising that to say, Huck, as much as we were just talking about, Huck being Olivia's robot, at the end of the day, he was Command's robot first. And that programming persists. So he walked into this entire situation with the hesitation. And I'm sure people in the chat, and I just saw something, we were talking about how Huck, he was saying to Olivia, you need to be 100% sure before you have me going out here to go and kill your father. He said, I need you to be 100% sure. And he even says to her, listen, we've kind of been down this road before. And she says to him, listen, I'm 100% confident I want you to do it. And so that's important, because what that means is that as it relates to this particular assassination, it is Olivia who has communicated confidence, not Huck. So he wasn't on his game to begin with, LBJ. And then, as you said, he gets caught by Rowan and LBJ. And I hope you were taking notes, because we do need absolutely right now for you to really give us the scene in the way that you do. So Huck, there he is. There he is looking for Rowan, not on his game. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Huck, not your best day. Okay. And Rowan catches him. Rowan then engages with Huck. And guess what? As usual, Command, he's 2 steps ahead. He tells Huck, listen, I know why you're here. Give it to us, LBJ.
Wait, you gotta like cue me in on this, because it was, I mean, like, okay, it was really, it was not necessarily a monologue, but there were like these one-liners that Huck fed Rowan to really get him to give him the monologue of it all.
Okay, so picture it. Huck is there with his gun just pointed at Rowan. It is 1 foot. It is less than a foot, less than 12 inches from Rowan's face. And he's holding it there. Sure, he's about to click the trigger. And he said, you killed Vargas.
And are you here to kill me? Are you here to kill me? Then if you're here to kill me, do it. Do it now. You have exactly 2 minutes and 15 seconds to do it. If you don't do it, they're going to come here and they're going to get me. And if they get me, it's going to all be bad.
Who's going to get you? What are you talking about?
Don't worry about who it is. If you're going to kill me, you have exactly 2 minutes to do it. 2 minutes and 2 minutes only to do it. 1 minute and 58 seconds, 57, 56. Do you want to know why? Did she tell you that I killed Vargas? She told you why I did it. Do you want to know why I did it? Do you want to know why I did it? I did it to get her elected. That's what she told you, right? She told you I shot him to get her elected. That's not why. I had no other choice, Huck. I had no other choice.
I don't believe you. You had a choice. You killed Vargas. Who are these people you're talking about?
These are people who are forcing me. These are people who are forcing me, Huck. You have exactly 1 minute and 15 seconds.
No one forces you. No one forces Command.
Exactly. No one forces me. No one forces Command. Pay attention, soldier. It is going down now. Pay attention, soldier. This is not a test. Our adversary is more than worthy, soldier. These people are threatening Olivia, my flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. They are threatening Olivia right now as we speak. If I die, then she dies. You are in the same position as me, Huck. Olivia's life is in our hands. In 15 seconds, a train is going to pull up. A woman white in a suit is going to walk off of there next to a man with a scar on his head, and they will get off of the train. And when they don't see me, they will be very unhappy.
I don't believe you. LBJ, I'm cueing you to get the traitor line. LBJ.
I'm sorry. I was about to disappear like Rowan did. Listen to me when I tell you, there is a traitor among us.
Thank you. Okay. Wait, where did he go? Then all of a sudden, he is gone. He is gone. He delivered that line. He's gone. Just as he said, a train pulls up, a door opens, and the lady in red, she comes out.
Devil in the red dress.
She comes out. LBJ, everybody in the chat is giving you high five.
Oh, thank you.
Mrs. Creole Davis was applauding your performance.
Thank you, Mrs. Creole Davis.
And Rakira knew you were disappearing, LBJ. She's
That's what Janai was calling.
We all saw your whack
I had to
that was
commit to the role. I was definitely like disappearing because Rowan disappeared into the shadows for a minute.
He did. LBJ was so good because it was like the only person who could ever evade Huck is Command. No one else could do it. And so what happens now, LBJ? Huck is convinced. He's convinced because he has seen something happen that he has never seen before. And that is Command being at the mercy of someone else. Now, of course, Huck is not stupid, so he always maintains a little bit of skepticism. Because at the end of the day, we all know that Command will go very far to make his point, to pull out a ruse. And so Huck is a little skeptical. So what does he do, LBJ? He continues to investigate. And I will tell you, this episode is where we once again, and it's been a while since we've had a whole episode where we got to see Huck do his thing. All of his things, guy in, guy out.
Yeah.
You didn't know. We got to see all of it. And so he takes this to heart. He says, OMG, there's a traitor among us. Who might it be? The next thing we see is Huck in OPA and Associates.
With all of his Tinker toys that B613 could ever imagine. He goes and pulls it all out, right?
Yes, he's there and he's now skeptical, LBJ. He's skeptical of who? The person I've always been skeptical of, Quinn. Okay? He's skeptical of who? Charlie. LBJ, you said this last week on the chat. You said it. You said that Charlie is someone that we need to be skeptical of. You have said that many times. Actually, it was many people in the chat that have been skeptical of Charlie.
Many people in the live chat always say Charlie should be watched.
Always say Charlie should be watched. So when we saw Huck scanning the room and wondering if his colleagues were people he shouldn't trust, we were also thinking, Charlie's the one. You need to go get him. LBJ, turns out it wasn't Charlie so far. You know, he does the monitoring though. So we see Huck with all his Spidey wear.
Huck actually had some actual tapping, some wiretapping going on, unlike claiming wiretapping was going on.
Message! Did you think that was the other kind of drum roll?
I did. I thought it was a rim shot. Wah, wah. Wah, wah, wah. Sound effects fail.
How many years will it take for us to learn these 10 sound effects that are on this panel?
Well, look, they sent a notification that the sound effects are going away, so we got to find some new ones.
Oh no! Okay. And so we see Huck monitoring. Now, what does he actually overhear when he's doing his wiretapping? He overhears Quinn talking to someone on the phone about Jennifer. Jig is up. Quinn's up to something. And so Huck follows Quinn.
But what did you think though? As soon as he started following Quinn, I want to know what you the biggest Quinn Robin Lindsay hater in the world, what did you think when you heard Huck, when you heard Quinn say on the phone, okay, I'm alone. Did you find out what to do with Jennifer?
Yeah, well, I'm glad you asked, LBJ, because you know what? The first thing I thought was, Idon Matrix. You and LBJ.
I got your back, Idon Matrix. And Zoe.
And Zoe Emile. Super fans of Quinn. Well, now the jig is finally up. And people are going to see that I have known all along that she is whack attack. Well, that turned out not to be the case. But we don't.
I found it.
Please learn this out of us.
Okay.
That was so good. It's making my stomach hurt.
We need a producer.
We do, LBJ, because this has got to stop. Okay, and so then Huck follows Quinn, and we find out that Quinn is in on a little bit more than we thought. She is now in touch with Jake. And Jake is, as we recall from the last episode, Jake has faked Jennifer's death and has been keeping her secretly alive, knowing that she has something to do with this plot that Command is playing out. Jake doesn't have a lot of details, but he does have Jennifer. And he needed help. He couldn't do it alone. He needed a B613 partner, and he knew Huck's allegiance to Olivia would not allow him to keep a secret from her. And so he asked Quinn as a fallback, which is what she always is, to come and help him and to partner with him in protecting Jennifer. LBJ, did you see that coming?
I did not see that coming. I promise you that was a surprise, but I didn't quite commit to it. And I was sitting here watching with Candace and my mom, and Grayson was down here as well. Grayson is probably the youngest person that watches Scandal. Grayson, he's upstairs now because Daddy gets loud when we do the Scandal recap. But I will say that I thought that this was all a twist. I did not think that Quinn Robin Lindsay was that savvy to be in on something so covert as being a mole, as being the person who was like watching Olivia. Her true existence is because of Olivia, and I don't think that she would give up on that for Olivia. I think if they were to pick someone else to pick off in OPA, it would be Quinn Robin Lindsay. Remember, she is Lindsay. She was born Lindsay.
Yep.
And Charlie called her Robin, but Olivia named her Quinn. Everyone knows her as Quinn now. She's not gonna turn on that. So I didn't quite commit to the Quinn scenario, the Quinn factor there. Some of you as well didn't commit to that. With Quinn, D. Hill also said something about Charlie. Again, we keep bringing up Charlie here. D. Hill responds to Robin and says that Charlie is too close. We see several people in here talking about this. But then Marvis says that she trusts Charlie before I trust Jake.
And Rakira, as much as I hated Quinn, I didn't think she was a traitor. I thought it was Charlie. It's hard to tell. It's hard to prioritize.
It is.
Because at the end of the day, they're all trained. They're all trained robots. Liars. They're trained liars. Yeah. They're trained liars, LBJ. And because they all are always working on a larger mission, you can never look at where they are today and understand what they're planning for tomorrow or what they were up to yesterday. It's just hard to trust them.
Absolutely.
And LBJ, we found ourselves there in a moment where we didn't know who to trust. We see Huck sitting there with his gun pointed at Quinn Robin Lindsay, and saying to her, "You're a traitor. I overheard you. I heard you." And we see Quinn pointing her gun at Huck, saying, "No, maybe you're the traitor. Maybe you're the one." And we see Jake standing over there saying, hey guys, let's all be rational here."
But can I ask, what happened to where gone are the days of love between Quinn and Huck, right? In that moment when they were both tonguing each other down, like all nasty and crazy, like
fighting each other and chewing each other up.
Yeah, like what happened to that? Like gone are the days. Right? In that moment.
They ain't that gone because that Quinn was hating, and I can't believe we almost missed it. Thank you, Grace, in the chat. She called it out because we don't know at this point if Quinn is a traitor, but it says Grace said Quinn might not be a traitor, but she's got more shade than a lamp store. Did y'all hear her dragging Huck's little friend?
Oh, that's true. LBJ. That's true.
How did we forget that? Thank you so much, Grace. LBJ, when Huck was monitoring Quinn and Charlie, we actually heard Quinn hating on Meg so hard. She was calling her a random chick, 2004 pixie cut, little this and that. Oh my gosh. And Charlie was like, "Oh, jealous much? Clearly you're jealous of this girl."
Yeah, I forgot about that.
So LBJ, they aren't chewing on each other's faces anymore. But let me say, Quinn is still harboring a little something for those Huck berries. Let the record show.
Let the record show.
The record show
right.
That she's still craving those Huck berries.
She wanted some huckleberry pie.
She wanted some. Oh my God, Grayson, please come get your father off these sound effects. Okay.
Wait, he might be watching because I see Candace is talking in the live chat now. So everybody say hey to baby Grayson right now.
Grayson.
Watching.
Oh my
listen,
gosh.
immediately after that
Yes.
moment, after guns went down
Mm-hmm.
and Huck and Quinn, decided to call it a truce and go back to bringing out the love, we got a
Mm-hmm.
chance to see them at the same table. They had a
Yes.
seat
But
at the table.
LBJ, before you move past that scene, we have to talk about the intel that Jake introduced in that moment.
Oh,
Because
how
it
could I
plays
forget
out
that?
later.
Yes, tell us.
Okay, so Jake, again, he's there. Hold on, guys. Let's not shoot each other. Let's get to the bottom of this. And he says, hey, listen, I don't have a lot of information. I've got Jennifer, I've got Quinn helping me out, and I have this photo of some woman that seemed to be a love interest for Rowan. And Huck sees this picture that Jake has, and it starts to bring more credence to the story that Rowan told him in the subway station. Rowan told him in the subway station in that 2 minutes where they could talk, he said to Huck that the reason that he was able to be under someone's control right now, which is something he has never experienced as command, is because they were holding something over him, and it was a woman that he loved. And LBJ, Huck seeing that picture, it basically it put two and two together. And at this point, LBJ, I think this is the moment where Huck truly becomes convinced that Rowan's story is true.
Absolutely. I thought that was very key that Jake said that. I did, I'm world's biggest skeptic at sometimes.
Yes.
And I think that in that moment, I felt that potentially Jake was trying to throw them off because remember, Sandra Titi was dead. And I didn't know if Jake knew that Sandra Titi was dead and if he was trying to throw off the entire plan to take down Rowan or to find out if he should take Rowan down or his quest for information. Let's keep it at that, his quest for information. I didn't know if that's what Jake's goal was in saying that. I felt that Jake being so close, being a son of Rowan, should have known that Sandra Titi was now deceased Sandra Titi.
But you know why he didn't know this, that Sandra Titi had been embalmed and put into her Great Pyramid? He didn't know that, LBJ, because he has faked many a death. LBJ.
Yeah.
He has had many a person disappear. And so none of them, they can't trust each other because they're all so skilled to lie. You said it. They're trained liars.
They are.
So LBJ, he couldn't figure this out.
No. He couldn't. Micah B 1003 says, SMH, Jake did all that work for nothing. My man was doing good and it backfired. I can't. I can't either. Like, I don't think anybody can who watched this episode tonight. I don't think anyone can. After we saw all that transpired, after Jake kind of gave this information to Huck and Huck kind of made a pivot in his research, Quinn then became a party to doing the research and the digging with him. And we got to see them back operating again. I thought it was so cool, Janiyah, when that moment happened, because Shonda actually tweeted right after that moment. Shonda says, yes, 1 minute their guns are drawn on each other. The next they're working at the same table. Such is the life of a gladiator. #scandal. I totally agree with Shonda in that moment.
Oh my gosh. I just love when we have a chance to hear from Shonda real time while the show is happening. I mean, watching an artist just appreciate their own art. I mean, there's nothing better.
But can we talk about though how Shonda has that B613 way of watching the show, because we know Shonda lives in LA. Where are you watching that show in LA, Shonda? Right. Shonda, are you watching how Janiyah and I watch and we're different colors? Because we have a way of watching too when we're on two different coasts. The last time in February, I was in LA and I watched Scandal live with
Oh yeah. And I have to just say really quickly for the people that are new to the chat, before we got technologically savvy about watching the show on Eastern Standard Time, even if we were in another part of the country or the world, we were doing it in some pretty janky ways. I think the very first the very first time, LBJ just called me on like
wait, are you gonna tell? Don't tell our B613 plans.
I have to, LBJ.
That's like telling them how our magic printer works in Scandal. Like to know how to get the paper through the wall.
LBJ, he just called me on like a Facebook chat or something. Or was it Skype? He just called me on Skype on the phone, and he pointed the phone toward a TV that was showing the show. And I don't even know where I was, somewhere in the Caribbean, or I don't even know where I was. But I'm sitting there watching through LBJ's phone a television set. So anyway, we're not quite B613, I will say.
Right, we're not quite. Wait, let me say this. Let me go back though. I was talking about Sandra Titi being dead.
Yes.
Grace, you get the award tonight. Wait, here we go. So Grace has one for us. She said Grace went from being she went from being Sandra Titi to Tootin' Sandra.
When she went in the pyramid. Okay.
About everything.
Oh my God. Well, in summary, she dead. She dead, LBJ. She dead. And so we now know. So now at this point, Jake, Quinn, and Huck have shared basically all the intel they have. So we know at least these three are all on the same page. And as usual,
I'm sorry.
What LBJ?
I'm sorry, Robin. B12 says, she asked because we were talking about how do we watch the show. Robin asked, did we jailbreak a fire stick?
I wish we knew how to jailbreak a fire stick.
Oh no, there are YouTube videos that tell you how to jailbreak a fire stick.
Yeah.
No, but we did not jailbreak a fire stick. If I told you how we watched the show when we're on two different coasts, y'all would be like, y'all are really like, y'all are very creative.
We're not great.
And you're resourceful. We're very resourceful.
We're very resourceful. We're very committed. We're very committed to this chat.
I'm sorry, that made me laugh. I'm sorry to throw us off. Okay, let's get back.
Okay. And so what is the next? Okay, so then Quinn does what every hater ex-girlfriend does. She said to Huck, LBJ, since we're looking for a traitor, why don't we look where we found one the last time? In your apartment. She basically said, oh, Huck, the last time you had a girlfriend, she turned out to be someone we couldn't quite trust, and you had been completely manipulated. And so Quinn, LBJ, all right, maybe she was helpful this time. Quinn.
Finally, thank you, Janiyah.
Okay, this time, but it took, 6 seasons and 7 episodes, okay? So she was helpful this time. And what she said, LBJ, to Huck was, listen, this seems familiar. The last time you were head over heels with a weepy chick, it turned out to be someone who left a smoking gun in your hand.
Absolutely.
Right? And so it's actually Quinn that plants the seed. And we had already talked about it here in the chat that Meg could not be trusted. But it was Quinn that plants the seed in the show that maybe Meg, Huck's girlfriend, is up to no good.
And this moment was completely pivotal for Huck, because Huck did something that we've never seen him do before. And Huck says to himself, and this is what I love about Huck this episode, we really got to see Huck peel back layers of hardness, and we got down to that core, almost to the core of Huck. We got past all the 752 and the hamburger eating.
Hamburger.
Yeah, 752, hamburger. We got past all of that, and we got to see this guy doing the work for his good and proud self. Like this guy was on a mission, and he was on a mission, a valiant mission, to figure out if he should carry out this act, this charge from his sister, essentially, like his favorite sister. And my heart broke at the end of this episode, which we're going to get to. I know we're all waiting to talk about that. Some of you already been talking about it in the chat.
Yes, we got to move more quickly. If it's something good
that you said, but get ready to retype it back so we can bring it back up. But so Huck goes and so here's what Huck does. Huck, in his savviness, goes to Gabby Abby Red at the White House. He gets a clearance inside the White House. He had the A badge. He had the A badge on walking to the White House. He goes and sits inside of Abby Red's office, and he says, I need to get access to an inmate. She's like, nope, can't do it. He's like, well, what if I told you that Jennifer Fields is alive? Gabby Abby Red goes, oh, like vapors. Gabby Abby Red is alive. Vapors.
And LBJ, her next question is, which inmate is it?
Yes, which inmate is it? Which inmate is it?
Yeah, she went right to work.
That conniving Gabby Abby Red, I believed her.
That Gabby Abby Red, LBJ. And so we then are wondering, Huck, what are you up to? Okay.
Mm-hmm,
What
mm-hmm.
what inmate did you think he was going to see, LBJ?
See, I did not know who it was. I'm like, are we gonna meet
Okay.
someone new? Who
Yes.
so Candace thought Candace was like Mama Pope. I'm like, no, it's not Mama Pope. Mama Pope is free. Remember, Mama
She's
Pope's we
free.
last saw her. She said, I want to go. I want me a house behind a white picket fence with cable so I can watch my daughter on TV. That was her request. I
That's
will never
right.
forget that. So we knew it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
Mama Pope. I didn't know who it was gonna be. And then we
Mm-hmm.
we see Attorney General walking through the hallways with him, and he's like, "Who are you going to see?" He's like, "Don't worry about it." No, he's like, "Why are you? I wonder
Ooh.
why Abby gave you access to do this. She won't tell me why she gave you access." He's like, "Don't worry about it." And I was like, "Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Huck, stand up for yourself." And then he sits down in front of this woman, and we see who is it? Becky with the good hair from season 2. Now, if
Oh.
you all need to know, do you remember who Becky is? Becky is from season 2. Verna, remember the Supreme Court Justice Verna, who was murdered by Fitz, the president. Verna
Mm-hmm.
put Becky up to killing Fitz, but Becky's job was not just to kill Fitz. Becky also was supposed to frame Huck for killing Fitz. And so Becky got
Mm-hmm.
herself close to Huck so that she could get all of his DNA and learn his ways and his motives and his operational procedures to figure out how she was going to frame this guy. When they figured it all
Mm-hmm.
out, the plan foiled. Fitz did not get killed. Verna ended up being killed, and Huck was free. Huck was clear, and Becky ended up in jail. And what we
Mm-hmm.
got this scene with Huck and Becky was so good. I thought it
Ooh.
was very good because this was the setup of it all. This
Yep.
was the setup, and it was like, is this too good to be true?
Mm-hmm.
And I say that because here's what happened if you don't know what happened. So Huck is sitting face to face with Becky with the good hair, right? He called up
Mm-hmm.
Becky with the good hair, sitting there with her, and he's like, he asked her a question about like, what was it that made you play me? Why did you play me? What was it in me that you saw as my weak spot?
Mm-hmm.
And she's
How
like,
did you do it?
how
How
did
did
you
you
do it?
do
How
it?
did you do it? And what does Becky
Yes.
do? Becky says to him, I'll tell you if you can just do me this one solid. Like, I really need you to help me get to my sister who's dying of pancreatic cancer. And like, I don't even know if she's still alive. Like, I don't even know if she's like, she could be dead right now. But I just really need to get to my dying sister.
Right.
And if you can get to my dying sister, just tell her that I love her and just like take a picture and bring the picture back. I just want to see a
Right.
photo of her. And she's dying. And let me just
Yes.
say this. Let me just, as an aside, I know someone who fell for someone who talks like that and who gave a sob story, and their life is like almost in shambles right now. Don't fall for these sob stories out here in these
They
streets,
do
people.
not. They can't.
I'm
People
warning you.
can't be trusted.
Do not fall for these sob stories. Don't do it. Don't
Don't.
do it.
You
He's
know
been
what?
warned. That's the
Yes.
takeaway for tonight. Don't fall for a sob story.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
So Becky does this entire sob story, and Huck is just like, okay, well, where is she? And
Mm-hmm.
then Becky goes, he's like, why are you laughing? Like, what's funny? What happened? What's going on? And she said, see, that's it. That's it right there. That's how I play you. You fall for a sob story.
LBJ, Micah B1003 said Becky was funny. She was all psych sucker.
Wait. Hey.
Get your finger off the button. LBJ, she was like, gotcha.
Yep.
LBJ, she played his face real time right there, LBJ. And she said to him, that's how I did it. You are a sucker for a sob story. And LBJ, Huck was tearing up, getting all impassioned, ready to go. And LBJ, I'm going to tell you what I thought in that moment. Huck is a programmed killer, right? He is a mercenary. That's what he is. And so the fact that he doesn't get to do it every day, he doesn't get to let his guy out like he really wants to, I think that puts him in emotional shambles. LBJ, he's a wreck. He's a wreck. And that's what's becoming his undoing. What's becoming his undoing is not maximizing his skill sets of just killing people. And so what ends up happening is he's carrying so much emotion that, he's fighting so hard not to be in the corner going hamburger, that it makes him vulnerable to people like Becky with the good hair and now Meg. And so Huck, he gets very upset and he storms out of the jail and he said, well, you're wrong. you're wrong. People change. I'm not vulnerable. You're way off base here, girlfriend. I'm paraphrasing. That's basically what he said.
Right,
And
right.
then we see Huck with Meg, right? And what does he have in his mind? He has in his mind the conversation that he had with Quinn, where Quinn is reminding him, listen, you've fallen for this before. He has in his mind the conversation that he had with Abby, where Abby is that he had with Becky with the good hair, and he's remembering what she said. She said, listen, you're a sucker for a sob story. And she said, if you have a woman that's near you, acting all weepy and weak and giving you a sob story, oh yeah, she's trying to get you. And that very night, LBJ, we see Huck and Meg post-coital at his apartment. And what does she do? Tapping her finger on his chest hair.
Yep.
Oh, Huck, I mean, I'm just so sorry to ask you this because I feel like it's inappropriate, but it would be so helpful if I could talk to your boss because my friend Jennifer is dead and I just really need to get to the bottom of it. Can you arrange that meeting for me? I mean, I don't want to put you in an awkward situation, but can you arrange that meeting? LBJ, I thought she had signed her own death warrant right there.
Absolutely. Because it was too good to be true. I'm like, this cannot be the setup for this episode. Like, we are thinkers, we are intellectuals. If you watch Scandal, you're not just the person like, oh, I'm gonna turn on the TV and watch this shit everybody's talking about. No, if you're watching Scandal, you are a thinker, okay?
Yes.
You come back for 6 seasons and 7 episodes because you are connected to thinking about cracking the code. It was too good to be true tonight. And being world's biggest skeptic, I'm like, nope, I'm not taking the bait. There might be a little more to this. Maybe this girl isn't Meg the mole. Maybe she's not. And we found out she really wasn't Meg the mole. She's not the mole, but she is. She does wear a mole. What did she do? But what did she do in that moment? Right, exactly. And what did she do in that moment, though? What did she do? She cashed in and she got some nectar. She tapped that tree and got the nectar and tapped that to let that sap flow from Huck and laid there after she set this whole plan in motion.
And you know what? I hate to see that because you know what? This whole thing of women manipulating men when they're in this vulnerable state, I hate when shows play this out, okay? Because you know what? First of all, we don't need people knowing our tactics. Okay, there are things that we have to do as women to get things done. And now when these shows are showing our super key tactics like that, I don't appreciate it. So I just want to put that out there for the record. But I'm going to tell you.
Now we know. Wait, and shout out to you, Janiyah. Robin's giving you a shout out because she said you had Meg down and she's doing like that. I just want to see your boss, so I want to do
this. I'm so frail and weepy. Oh, look at me. Get over it, Meg. I was never falling for it, LBJ. I was always skeptical of that Meg. And LBJ, because you have to remember, she creeped out of nowhere. Don't you remember how we were all so confused by her? We didn't know where she came from.
We didn't. We did not know where she came from.
When she was there exhibiting the very telltale signs that Huck's ex-girlfriend / manipulator had told him about, we saw right there his guy come out that fast, LBJ. And he just said, you know what? This chick's going down. That's basically what he said with his eyes. And he said, you know what? Let me just talk to Olivia and see if she'll talk to you. So LBJ, we thought Meg was done for. So the next thing we see is Huck confronting Olivia. Huck has processed so much information at this point, and this is too much for his little heart to handle.
Yeah.
You know, he's an emotional wreck. You know, between Olivia's life being at risk by this mysterious entity, between watching Command, who he has always experienced as all powerful, be at the mercy of someone else, to now questioning Meg, who he finally thought he could have some love and be a semi-normal person, LBJ. He's so confused. He's a wreck. And he's talking to Olivia. And Olivia asks him, she's on the phone, she said, did you do it yet? And you know what the it is she's asking about. She's saying, did you kill my father yet? And he is telling her, no. You know what? I didn't kill him because he is being manipulated. And that is the first time that Olivia now starts to get all the goods. And I have to say, LBJ, don't you remember Jake said that he didn't want to loop Huck in because Huck could not hold water when it comes
Because
to Olivia.
when it comes to Olivia, exactly. Everyone knows how Huck
Everyone
feels
knows.
about Olivia.
Mm-hmm.
Huck turns into Pearl Shay on 227 and is sitting right up in the stoop talking about Mary. I saw Sandra come in last night. Mary, did you know that Rose was coming to becoming a landlord? Mary, Brenda was hanging with Calvin and they skipped school today. Mary, that's who he turns into when it comes to
Yes.
Olivia. It's like
Yes.
Pearl Shay and Mary from 227 all over again.
Yes, get off the stoop, Huck, and stop gossiping whenever
Exactly. Exactly.
But you know what, LBJ? Grace called him out in the chat. She says, the reason why Huck is feeling emotionally right now, it's Liv. It's Liv, LBJ. I mean, at the end of the day, it is his attachment to Liv, him being beholden to Liv, that is making him vulnerable. I agree with you, Grace. I mean, at the core of all of this, he now is needing to convince Olivia, the one that he is living for and championing in all of this, that she is wrong. And Olivia at this point, oh, well, she has had enough, LBJ.
Yeah.
And she says to him, well, you know what? If you're not going to do it, just let me know. And what she said was, if you can't get it done today, you let me know because I'm going to have somebody else do it. LBJ, she basically threw down the gauntlet.
She did. She threw down the gauntlet, and that still was not enough for Huck. Huck, again, on this valiant effort, he was like the man of La Mancha, willing to fight the good fight of faith until the end, until the death. Like the Hunger Games. Fight until the death. The odds ever be in your favor, Huck. Yes. And that's just what he did. And Huck was like, you know what? Something's not right. Something's not right. Let me see what's going on. I got it. I found something. What did you see? Who said something good?
Sorry. I don't Matrix said. LBJ, I want you to do an entire recap in your Mary voice.
What you mean about Pearl Shay voice or the Mary voice?
Yeah, your Pearl Shay voice.
You want me to sit on the stoop? I need a pillow. I need a pillow and be like,
you really do.
Mary, Janiyah. I was watching Scandal tonight, Janiyah. You know what I saw, Janiyah? After Huck talked to Olivia and she said, if you can't get it done, Huck said, I'm going to find somebody else. I'm going to find another reason why I should tell Olivia I'm not going to kill her daddy. And Mary, Janiyah, do you know what happened?
LBJ, I think we have just found your Medea. I think we just found it. That's it.
And you know what? This is how I feel. Life as I know it is done. If I've gone that far, please. Pull me back in. Pull me back in. Let's stop right now. So Huck calls court. Huck calls court with Olivia.
That's right.
He calls court with Charlie. He calls Huck court with Quinn, Robin, Lindsay. They're all standing in this parking garage. Huck is like, I have to compel her. I am going to compel her to see why I should not kill her father. He is up to something and he's trying to protect her because he believes Rowan. And it's not because he's brainwashed him and he's the Geppetto to his Pinocchio. No. This is because he's standing as a man, as an individual. He has to get her to believe. Yeah. So he finds this car that was marked. They find this vehicle that was marked stolen a week ago, and inside the trunk of this vehicle, who do we see? We saw Sandra Tootin Sandra, and we know that she's Tootin Sandra because they peeled back all her sackcloth and ashes, and under the sackcloth and ashes, this lady is gray and nasty, and there is a bullet in her head. Olivia's like, I told you, Huck, my dad did this. She probably found out his plan to kill the president, and that's why he put the bullet in her head. I know this is my father's work. I know my dad did this. He needs to be dead. Huck, at this point, you can't do it. Huck is like, he didn't do it. Listen, he does everything but shake her. He was like, Olivia. Shake her, but he couldn't shake her.
Oh my gosh.
And Huck is like, I'm trying to compel you. I'm really. And did you all notice in that scene how Charlie was looking? Like, did you see where Charlie was? Go back and rewatch. Look where Charlie was positioned in that scene. Like, it's almost as if he needed to take a shot of Olivia in that moment, he could take a shot of Olivia and she would have been done. Go back and rewatch the scene and see where Charlie was. Then they're doing all this. Olivia's like, nope, Huck, you've lost it. You're wrong. Huck is like, Olivia, I am right. I know I am right, Olivia. I am right. Olivia
And
says,
LBJ, and what he says is, he says people change.
yes.
So what
There's this
he's
whole
doing,
change campaign. Yes. There's a
the
whole
change
change campaign. Yeah.
hashtag people can change, because he is not just LBJ saying that Rowan is being manipulated in this moment. He is advocating for Rowan as a human. He is basically right now championing Rowan's entire humanity. He is not just saying, oh, Rowan in this isolated moment is not up to what we think he's up to. He is saying, no, Rowan's entire set of motives have shifted. He was operating in a way where he was championing love over everything else. And LBJ, there was a point much earlier on that we forgot to call out, and people were talking about it in the chat. And it was LBJ. It was the moment where, let me just say, last week when we were in the chat, I said that what made it so hard for Eli Rowan Pope to kill Vargas was that he is always championing the Republic over everything else and would never do anything against the Republic. Well, earlier in this episode, at the beginning, when Olivia is first telling Huck his assignment to kill Rowan, and Huck is completely confused. He's saying, listen, if you are right that Rowan killed Vargas, then there must be something else going on, because at the end of the day, Rowan always champions the Republic first. And so now fast forward back to the scene we're talking about here toward the end, when Huck is trying to convey to the entire group, to all of OPA and associates, that command has changed. What he's saying, LBJ, is listen, he's not championing the Republic. His first mission, his primary mission, has shifted, and it is love. It is love for Sandra Titi, and it is love for you, Olivia. That's what he's saying.
And Olivia is not in the place to receive love
at all,
because she is so broken. And this goes back to what I've always said. Olivia needs a moment where she can sit down on someone's couch.
Yes,
see,
indeed.
that's why the spirit gave me the 227 reference. Why? Because let's go back to Marlon Gibbs' character, Mary. Let's go back to Mary, Olivia's neighbor. If she had that moment to go sit down on her neighbor's couch and have some healing,
that's all we want for her.
That's all she needs. She needs that to get right. That's what Olivia needs. But until she gets right, she cannot be in the place of receiving.
No,
that's all I got to offer there. But
no,
go ahead.
So then Olivia, she ends the conversation. She is not in a place of receiving because she has not been counseled by a wise old African American woman. She is not in the place to receive this guidance from Huck. Not to mention, her life has taught her that people can't change, including herself, right? We have watched Olivia try to change and not be able to do it. And so we see her, she wraps the conversation. She reallocates the duties. She said, you know what? I need you now, Quinn, to go ahead and kill my father. I need you, Huck, to get rid of Sandra Titi. And meeting adjourned. She walks away, conversation's over. We see Huck in the cemetery. Of course, he's dug a gigantic hole, not a bead of sweat anywhere on his forehead.
Right.
Hashtag robot. He's dug this gigantic hole. He's deep down in this hole, and it's for Sandra Titi's body. Just before he puts her in there and covers her up with dirt, he goes behind her ear, LBJ, and he pulls out, what is that, a bug? He pulls out a little surveillance device that was behind her ear. Because this whole time he's thinking, you know what? If she was being manipulated as a part of this plot, someone was bugging her, tracking her, something. And he literally pulls back Sandra Titi's face. And I didn't know what he was about to do. I was like, oh, he's going crazy.
So Huck definitely, he takes Sandra Titi, the Sandra down into the ground for one last ashes to ashes, dust to dust moment. Her family will never get. Shout out to her imaginary family on Scandal. Sorry for them.
And the dog, LBJ.
Oh, and the dog, yes, and the dog. And Stephanie Beard asks as well. She says, so to your point, before he says ashes to ashes, dust to dust, he actually goes to Sandra Teedy and reaches behind her ear. And as he reaches behind her, he sees that there is something there. There's something familiar that's
Mm-hmm.
behind Sandra Teedy's ear. Huck
Mm-hmm.
being B613. So Stephanie Beard says, how did Huck know to go behind her ear? When did Rowan Pope plant that behind her ear? So
Mm-hmm.
there's two ideas. There's two ideas here. It could be that Rowan planted that behind her ear when he was all getting all mushy and such with her, and when they had the nectar relations moment when in the
Mm-hmm.
bedroom there. That's most likely when Rowan planted that behind her ear. It was a listening device. Rowan needed to listen to what was going on. I don't think for one moment that Sandra. So some people might think so. That's the first thing. The second thing, Stephanie Beard. I think that some people will think that Devil in the Red Dress and Man with Gun placed the listening device in Sandra's ear or behind her ear. I don't think that
Mm-hmm.
that happened because when Rowan was going to take Sandra down, she would have said, "Hey, boo, look back," or she would have done something to signal, "Look behind my
Mm-hmm.
ear." She did
Mm-hmm.
not do that. I think Rowan planted it there because he knew that he needed to listen to what was going on. He needed to monitor. B613 listens and monitors. Hence, Huck knowing
But
what to check
but L
for
but LBJ,
when we put her to the ground. He knew to
I,
check for it.
I gotta tell you, I know we're over time here, LBJ. We gotta wrap, but I gotta tell you, I was confused by that device because the perspective of it. So let's just demystify it for the people who are watching this before they watch the show. What he pulls from behind her ear turns out to be basically surveillance footage of the Bone Studio that that Sandra Teedy and Rowan were working in. It, oh, yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, this
Hi.
is Fact Checker Frank. How are you this evening?
Oh, just doing well. Thank you, Frank. What's up?
Just wanted to let you know that that was actually a listening device that was planted behind Toot and Sandra's ear. Huck took the listening device and he debugged it, and he used a GPS tracker to figure out where the listening device had been to figure out where he needed to find the surveillance footage. Hence, him tapping into the cameras inside of the Smithsonian Bone
Oh.
Room. Thank you. That's all. Bye from Fact Checker Frank tonight.
Oh, thank you, fact checker Frank. You're always so helpful when you stop by. I missed that. I did. I probably was washing
Yeah.
dishes. I was trying to run back and forth.
Yo, yeah. So
Oh,
they showed Huck.
yeah,
They showed Huck taking the device,
I missed that little snap.
like going
Okay.
through, like decoding it, and then he traces
Oh,
where it's been, and
yes.
he traces it back to the
Mm-hmm.
office. That device was not a camera, Janaya. That was a
It
listening
was just a
device.
listening device.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Huck then gets this listening device. He peels it back, peels back Sandra TD's face, gets this listening device, LBJ. And what does he then do with it, LBJ? Once he has done all of the Spidey work that you were just talking about, what does he then do with that information, LBJ?
He takes it and goes straight to OPA, and he says, "Look, Olivia,
Mm-hmm.
this is the end all be all. I'm not going to tell you anything else." He pops the DVD in, and they start watching it, and then Olivia starts lip quivering in terror, and then she turns and she can't watch when Daddy puts the one bullet hole inside of the middle of that woman's forehead, and she calls Quinn and calls off the kill. She calls
Mm-hmm.
Quinn, tells her to stand down, don't do it, don't kill Daddy. And now Olivia knows the entire plan that's going on, that her dad is fighting. And
Well,
Olivia,
as much as any of them know. She
exactly,
still
as much
doesn't know the
yes,
whole plan, but she knows as much as any of them.
she knows as much as her daddy knows.
Mm-hmm.
She knows as much as Huck knows,
That's right.
and that's that. So now Olivia, I mean, it's a perfect opportunity, and I'm kind of jumping ahead for myself, but it's a perfect opportunity for daddy and daughter to team up. It's a perfect
Mm-hmm.
opportunity.
Oh, that is
That's
spoiler
all
in
I'm
your
saying. That's all I'm
prediction.
saying.
Okay. And so LBJ, so then the very last part of this episode, and there's a little nugget that we didn't talk about earlier. So as all of our skepticism about Meg was heating up, LBJ, there was a moment where Huck was surveilling Meg. We saw her eating lunch in a random park. She ends up having an exchange with the devil in the red dress. And so Huck, he's of course quite skeptical of her at this point. Obviously, she's in cahoots with evil. Huck ends up confronting Meg, basically threatening her life. Meg does her weepy, oh, how could you possibly think I would kill you? I love you. If you look at my eyes clearly, you can see that. She was just, I just hate her. And so she whines and whimpers, and she does her whole little shtick, and she manipulates Huck to make him not believe his own conclusions. And I want to just talk about the power of that, LBJ, because she basically convinced him not to believe his own eyes. He saw her, real time, talking to the devil in the red dress. And Meg convinced him that it was nothing. And so she runs out of the apartment. Oh, you tried to kill me. Oh, I'm just so weepy now and broken about this whole thing. She scampers out. And so Huck, he's now helped Olivia to have the revelation of everything that's gone down. And what's still an open item for him? It's Meg. Yep. He at this point, he's like, oh my gosh, I've been holding Meg as someone who was perhaps in on this plot. Oh, she's been vindicated. Obviously, she's not a part of this. And so we see Huck and Olivia tracing themselves right on over to Meg's apartment. Meg opens the door through a crack, and she's like, you get away from me. You tried to kill me. And Olivia's like, oh, we just need to come in for just a minute. No, he tried to kill me. And so
Dan Blakemore said to you tonight, he said that Meg poured the nectar over his eyes.
Yes, she did. It floweth over his eyes. And he made him not believe his own eyes. And LBJ, Olivia, using her super snazzy tactics, gets Meg to open the door, and we see Meg and Olivia having an exchange where Olivia basically is convincing Meg to forgive Huck. Huck is sitting back there with his head bowed, heart just broken in a million pieces, still dregs of nectar still dripping from his eyeballs, and he's sitting there heartbroken. And Olivia is saying to Meg, I need the two of you to reconcile so that Huck can get back on his game. Huck and Meg reconcile. Of course I'm just a weepy little, of course I'll forgive you. And so they're back together. The next thing we see Huck trying to do what he believes is a valiant effort for this woman that he loves and that he believes loves him. And LBJ, he takes Meg, and before he opens the door, he says, Meg, here, I'm taking you now to see your best friend, Jennifer.
But can I just pause for a moment, Janiyah, before you go? So put a pin right there in the cork board. Don't take the pen out. Hold it.
Got it.
Because I just want to say that there was something really special going on here. And I wonder if anybody else got caught up in this moment. Like I got caught up in this moment. Let's take a few steps back in the episode. And Huck is talking to Meg about friendship and how friendship makes him feel and how he feels about friendship, how like he really has no friends, like it's just him in this world with these people that are dwelling in this world with him, and friendship is something that is very valuable to him, and it affects him. Like there's a true effect to his core that he has when it comes to friendship. And he allowed himself to become vulnerable with this woman after he did not kill her. After he had the opiate serum and the needle ready to inject it in her neck, and she said, look me in my eyes and see if there's something that you see in me that should not be there. Just go ahead and do it. He did not take the kill. He should have done it. And he even created a serum that wouldn't even make her feel her insides melting and stinging.
It was a merciful death.
It would
have been a merciful death.
It would have been. So then when Janiyah brought you all up to this moment where he's there with Olivia at Meg's apartment, and he lets her know that Jennifer Fields is still alive and that you can go see your friend. We couldn't tell you to protect her and to protect you, but now that we know that she's alive, we'll take you there. But before we go there, Meg, let me let you know that this guy is just a gentle giant. He's a teddy bear. He's not a monster. And Olivia, this moment was just perfect because you saw all this happening. Olivia was wearing the white hat symbolically for Huck, and they were playing Lean On Me. And I got caught up in that moment because I was just like, this is about to be something that is going to very, very, very bad. You silly wabbit. That's how I felt. Like, if you fall for this, you silly wabbit, it's going to end very, very bad.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, taking away Janiyah. So it's Bill Withers is like, lean on me when you're not strong.
And
so what happens when they go see Jennifer Fields?
And all Bill wants to do is for someone to lean on him. That's all. That's all Bill Withers is talking about. And then Huck opens the door so that the woman he loves, LBJ, who has forgiven him for as far as he knows, this woman that he loves can be reunited with her friend that he at this point believes she was heartbroken over, believing that she had died. He opens the door. Meg walks in, does not miss a beat, hands in the purse, out pulls the gun, shoots Jennifer. Bam, bam, Jennifer's dead. Killed her good, LBJ. Okay, she gone. And Jennifer's dead. And then LBJ, she turns to Huck. And this is when her hand is shaking a little bit. I didn't think she was going to do it. I'm going to be honest. What did y'all think in the chat?
Let's take a moment. Let's take a moment to let people respond. Did you think that Meg was going to pull the trigger?
Did y'all think she was going to do it? I need to know because I just didn't think so. I just didn't think so. LBJ, she did it. She didn't just do it once, LBJ. She shot him twice. He's on the ground, not just bleeding, but emotionally stunned. Is this happening? Did I get befuddled? Did I get messed up in the game? Not once, but twice by this same chick after the last chick that did this to me told me it was happening? Really?
Yeah.
LBJ, he's sitting there looking stuck completely on the floor, dumbfounded. And then she shot him again, LBJ. And that is where the episode ends.
Now, I did not rewind at all, but help me out in the chat as well. I thought that there were 4 shots that she took.
Maybe it was 4.
Rakira said this was Becky 2.0 on steroids. Grace said I was expecting Jennifer to say, Harper, who this woman? Harper, Squeak on Color Purple. We got Kat Harlem says, yes, I knew she was going to kill her when they were walking down the hall.
Yeah.
Dan Blakemore, his first expectation was that Jennifer would be taken out by a sniper.
Yes.
Micah B, this episode had me shook. I agree. Rakira, I thought Olivia wore the white hat in that moment for Huck to redeem Huck. That's why I thought that she wore the white hat. Grace says, I realized that Meg was the mole once he took her to the door, even before they walked in. Her reaction when he said Jennifer was in the room just gave me chills. So you were tapped into the whole thing.
Yeah. Because you saw her, we saw her energy shift. Some of her frailness, her little, I'm just so weepy and frail. Some of it left. She got
exactly. She got that. Yeah. She had like kahunas grandes in that moment. She had to say, I gotta do this. I am the one to do this. Dan Blakemore said Jennifer took 2 bullets. Yes, Jennifer took a bullet in the head and like in the chest. Huck, I believe Huck had a bullet on the side first. I thought the second bullet went through Huck because we saw the bullet pass through his body. It came out the back. Yeah, out the back. When I saw that one, I was like, you are kidding me. Then I think another one went in his the other side of his chest or side of his body.
Yes.
I felt that there was a 4th shot that we did not see, which might have been the kill shot in Huck's head. That's what we saw. That's what went down.
And LBJ. So then the only question left beyond is Huck really dead? Is he dead? The only other question was, who was Meg working for?
So here's an answer for you, though. Let me help you answer one question, though, because I'm gonna tell you. You wanted to know. B613's calling. Wait, is it the B613 or some booty? Who's on the phone? Like,
who would be calling me at this hour?
Who would be calling you at this hour? So I think that. So here's the thing. Let me tell you. Here's why I think. So everybody, I think Huck is dead. Okay. You want to know why I think Huck is dead? I think Huck is dead because the owner of Shondaland had the following to say. Shonda Rhimes says, there are just no words to describe how much my Guillermo Diaz ruins me this episode. My heart. Masterful work always. #scandal. #TGIT. Y'all, if Shonda says that, I think Huck is dead.
LBJ, she was applauding the actor That was what she was doing, LBJ.
But I'm telling you, y'all have to watch her. Y'all have to watch her.
You know her tweet.
If you read her book, you know she's always laying track. She's always laying track. And for her to get caught up in her own work, that says something. And the last time she tweeted and got caught up in her own work, I predicted that someone will be joining the cast of Scandal, and that was Marcus Walker, played by Cornelius Smith Jr. She tweeted in the lawn chair episode. She said she did the same kind of tweet like Cornelius Smith Jr. masterful work. I just can't believe this. Be still my heart. Black Lives Matter. Like, she did all this kind of tweeting about his acting. This was it for Guillermo Diaz. Like, she shouted him out.
Marvis to Marvis said Guillermo needs an award for tonight.
Yeah.
And LBJ, I have to agree with that. You know what? But I also agree with Micah B. That Micah B 1003. If Fitz can survive a gunshot to the head and Jake can survive multiple stabbings, my boy needs to live. I agree with that. And LBJ, at the end of the day, so let's talk about who Meg was working for.
Oh, go there, because I mean we've given this episode way too much time, because this could will be the last time we talk about Huck. So we have to give him a farewell episode.
Let the record show that I will never stop talking about Huck.
No.
If this is his last portrayal on this show, Huck, I will keep your memory alive. Okay, I will call your name, Huck. I will call your name. All right? Oh my God. I can't even fathom it.
Beautiful.
Constant audition tape for Shonda. Shonda, don't you think I should be on this show? Shonda, hook a sister up. Okay. LBJ. So we see now at the very last snippet of the show who Meg was working for. And can I tell you, I didn't think we were going to get to figure that out tonight.
I didn't either.
And the fact that we did figure that out tonight shows that there are just so many more layers to this onion that are going to unfold for us to find out who has been pulling who's the puppet master behind the shadow organization.
Yeah.
Right? Who's in cahoots with the shadow organization or the puppet master for the shadow organization? LBJ, we then see Meg standing with the devil in the red dress and none other than Gabby Abby Red. And Gabby Abby Red, in this dynamic, she's very much appearing like the person who's holding all the cards. Mm-hmm. She's appearing as the person who has hired someone to execute a plan.
Yep.
And she asked them, she's going down the list, is Jennifer dead? And Meg says, yes. And then she says,
she says like yes. She says like yes, Miss Gabby. Like it's a miss. It's not just yes. It's like yes, Miss Gabby.
Yes, employer who signs my check, because it's basically what she said. And then she said, so then Gabby Abby Red says, Huck, is he dead? And Meg says he'll never remember this. He won't. What? She didn't affirm yes.
Exactly.
She said Huck will never know that you had something to do with this. So LBJ, I think,
which leads us to believe that he could be alive, but it was too good. Again, it's too good to be true. I'm a skeptic.
She shot Jennifer. I mean, she shot Jennifer in places where she could not recover from.
Right.
Okay. She made sure that Jennifer was dead before she hit the ground. She shot Huck over on his, right, his right hand breast, all the way over to the side. Shot his cousin, not him. I mean, she was way off. She wasn't getting in the target zone. And I watched enough Scandal to know this is the kill shot. It's right here, LBJ. She didn't do that. So, I'm going to keep hope alive for Huck. But that's where we left it. So all these last couple of episodes, we're wondering who is running Eli Pope? Gabby Abby Red.
Who'da thunk?
No one.
Who'da thunk?
I don't think anyone predicted that. Please chat. Tell me if I'm wrong. But I don't think that anyone in the chat predicted that. Nope. Larry, you didn't predict that. Nope. I didn't predict that. We did not see that coming.
Shonda's probably watching us right now like, I fooled Larry and Janaya finally.
Predict that. That's what she said. Right. Yeah. Thought you knew me. You don't know me.
Hashtag, I got my year of yes. Yes, I got Larry and Janiyah. I fooled them. Yes.
Oh gosh, LBJ, you know we need to wrap. There's so much good stuff in this chat.
So much good stuff. So
Oh my
listen, what
gosh.
are your takeaways / predictions from this episode?
Well, LBJ, there was the other the other Scandal Jam session. The hashtag
the other Scandal Jam session for tonight. So we had Lean on Me by Bill Withers. That was the first one was Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang.
Rapper's Delight by Sugar Hill Gang. And LBJ, I just thought it was so interesting that played more than once. And correct me if I'm wrong.
I know. I noticed that too, yeah.
They don't normally play them more than once.
They don't.
They will introduce a song. We don't hear it again in the episode. I mean, I can maybe think of one other time where they played a song more than once. But LBJ, I just thought it was interesting because to me, it was something about cycles. It was something about vicious cycles, And so it felt to me like a reminder that power just keeps changing hands. Power just keeps changing hands, LBJ.
That's good.
And so at the beginning of the episode, Olivia makes a statement to Huck that people don't change. People are who they are. And when she did that, LBJ, I believe she was talking about everyone in her life, but she was also talking about herself. She was talking about herself. And LBJ, by the end, she had at least accepted that her father had changed enough. And when she was championing Huck to Meg, before we found out that she was the devil, she was saying to Meg, listen, people can change. And so we watched Olivia changing her tune. And LBJ, it was just a cycle because we've seen Olivia before go to a place where she starts to, see the beauty in things. And she starts to try to find some kind of, way to rise above in the situation. And I just worry that once again, we're back in our vicious cycle. So anyway, so my LBJ, who knows what the next couple of layers of onion will be, but I will just say it's power shifting hands over and over and over again.
It's good. Those are good takeaways and a good prediction, Janiyah. Before I get into mine, I just want to shout to these few that I've seen in the chat right here. Grace thinks that Meg the mole showed Meg who wears a mole showed mercy. She thinks that Meg showed him mercy. Maybe she gave him a shot like he was going to give her that will affect his memory. Hence her comment to Gabby Red. Stephanie says next week they're going to show it from Abby's perspective. I wonder why she was so intent on the Cyrus thing to the tune of invoking the president's name. Now we know. Then Blake Moore said, but Shonda did lay the groundwork long ago for Gabby Red when she went for Cyrus's job. Micah B says Angela might be in danger from Abby high key, not low key, but high key. I see what you did there, Micah. I like that. Abby was giving her the look. I want Abby to die, but Shonda only blesses me so much. And I say I brought those up because there is something to be said about Gabby Red this season. Doing this. I mean, we talked about her, like Dan said, Shonda laid the groundwork long ago for this. We just didn't see this coming. The way that Gabby Red was fighting for power, the way that Gabby Red was standing up to Olivia, the way that Gabby Red has shown herself strong in this regard.
And to fit.
To something all over and over and over again. And not just in season 6. This, like you said, Shonda laid this groundwork long ago. This groundwork was laid in season 5 when she started to make that pivot. And I kept singing the song of, oh, look at her being so great and standing up and seeing how the training that Olivia gave her is proving to keep her successful in the White House. And look at their sisterhood coming back together. And look at this and look at that with Gabby Red. No. Little did we know, she was having covert conversations with the Russians, figuring out how she could throw this election. That's what she was doing. That's what Gabby Red was doing.
Yeah. All this time, we're playing her to the left. She was playing us to the left, LBJ.
She played us to the left and to the right. She did us a whole north, south, east.
Hither and thither, LBJ.
She made us do the Cupid shuffle to the right, to the right, to the left, to the left. That's what she had us doing.
Yes, she did. Sliding over here, sliding over there. LBJ Cat Harlem early in the chat said, I would love to see Huck torture Abby. LBJ, listen, we don't know what to make of Abby at this point. Before we were just watching her and thinking that she was a poor imitation of everyone she tried to be. She was a poor imitation of Liv when she was trying to run things. We called her a poor imitation of everyone, LBJ. Somebody in the chat, I couldn't find it, called her a poor imitation of Cyrus. And I will just say, LBJ, we have underestimated her. But big time. But her ultimate motives remain to be seen.
They remain to be seen. Her ultimate motive is she wants to outpower the popes. If you ask me, she wants to outpower Olivia and her dad. And her dad being Rowan Pope, being the great oracle that Rowan Pope is, said it tonight. There is a traitor among us. We know who the traitor is. Once Olivia finds out that it is Gabby, Abby, Red, all bets are off. All bets are off. There is no coming back. There is no going. At one point, I thought that we should see a return to OPA for Gabby, Abby, Red. Not happening. That's my first prediction. My second prediction, well, let me give you a take. My takeaway I gave you earlier in the episode, don't fall for a sob story. I know somebody who fell for a sob story. It definitely didn't do them right. People, do not fall for a sob story. Please do not do your background research. Do not fall for a sob story. I'm echoing what Scandal told us tonight with this time, unlike Beyonce, listen, turn to Becky with the good hair and heed her advice, okay? My second final prediction is what I said earlier. I think that this has been a setup for the track to be laid for a daddy-daughter team up. And this is what me and many other gladiators have been waiting on. We've been waiting to see a moment where Olivia and her father are going to shut down the game. Only they could shut the game down. Just when these people thought that they were going to have it. Listen, Rowan Pope by himself, Rowan Pope said to me, what you want me to do? Shine your shoes, pick your cotton. He went through that whole bit last week.
Yes.
When you get that mixed with his daughter, do you know the possibilities are endless? We're going to see some shady moments. We're going to see some violent moments. We're going to see some stuff that we've never seen before, and we're all going to be throwing buckets of popcorn and red wine up in the air like, TGIT, I can't believe it. OMG. Like, it's going to be so good. And I promise you, there's going to be a daddy-daughter team up that we're going to see on Scandal. They may be working separately, but they're going to come together and they're going to shut this whole thing down.
Well, LBJ, there's an important point. And again, we were moving, through each scene. We didn't really, comb every scene the way I wish we could have. But there was another little bit of exchange that happened where between Huck and Papa Pope during their exchange. And it was Papa Pope saying to Huck, "Can you help me?" Right? Yes. Papa Pope asking for help. So LBJ, your prediction about this team up between OPA and Papa Pope, it already started. It happened tonight. It's already rolling. It's already rolling because Huck was acting after he had been enlisted by Papa Pope for help. Yeah. So LBJ, I think your prediction is probably pretty close to right on. Earlier in the chat, many people were hoping that Mama Pope was going to make it. I know. I thought for sure she was going to come creeping out.
With this partnership, with this team up, we don't know. The possibilities are endless in our minds.
The possibilities are endless, and the other thing we have to remember is we still don't really know who put Gabby. Like we still don't know the full story with Gabby, and if there weren't a lot of layers there, they wouldn't have revealed her at this point in the season, right? So there's a lot, there's much more for us to figure out behind these layers with Gabby Abby.
Oh, what's that, Janiyah? What's that sound?
What could that possibly be?
I think it's them telling us that our collect call is about to end and we need to stop the conversation because we're almost going for 2 hours. Like, what in the world is going on? I think it's going to explode. What's happening?
Get off the chat. We're done.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Let us know if you watched to the end. We so appreciate you. We will see you next week for the Scandal recap. Thank y'all so much. We love you for watching. Bye. Have a great weekend.